December 2025. A frequency spike hits an array of radio telescopes across 3 continents at the exact same moment. Not noise, not static. A pattern burst, precise, repeated, and coming from the same coordinates linked to one object, 3IATLAS. Within minutes, observatories lock their systems, data streams go dark, and private astronomy servers start vanishing from public access one by one. The official statement? A routine calibration echo. But the astronomers who actually saw the raw signal before it disappeared know the truth. It wasn't an echo. It wasn't a glitch. It was directed. A reply to something we didn't even know we were transmitting. And if the early analysis is right, 3IATLAS might have just answered back. The story begins 3 hours before the event. The first anomaly. At 2:14 Universal Time Coordinated, the Cerro Tololo Observatory in Chile picked up a narrowband spike at 1,420 MHz, the hydrogen line. That frequency is special. It's quiet, empty, a cosmic dead zone that SETI uses because nothing natural emits there except the most stable hydrogen transitions. Except this wasn't hydrogen. This was a pulse. Sharp, intentional, a perfect square wave pattern repeating every 11.2 seconds. Before the operator could reroute the feed, the spike duplicated itself in Spain, then South Africa, then Australia. Observatories that weren't even pointed at 3IATLAS suddenly registered the same 1,420 MHz burst, as if the signal bent around the Earth to make sure somebody, anybody, caught it. Within 6 minutes, triangulation confirmed the source. Right ascension 18 hours 47 minutes. Declination minus 22 degrees. The active coma region of 3IATLAS. That was the moment the alarm started. The forbidden window. This should have been impossible. 3IATLAS was deep in the glare zone, almost completely invisible behind the sun. The blackout window had already begun. From October 8th to 18th, every major observatory is forbidden from imaging objects within a certain solar radius. The official justification is safety, but internal memos leaked last week told a different story. Suspend all radar illumination of Atlas until categorized. Restrict unscheduled observations. Report anomalies directly to USSBACCOM. So when a full-strength narrowband burst punctures the blackout like a blade through fabric, it isn't just an anomaly. It's a violation of the window, a signal that was never supposed to get through. Even stranger, the pulse didn't behave like any natural source. Nebulae flicker, pulsars oscillate, stars ring like bells. But this had structure. Something was modulating the power output, shaping the frequency, encoding timing into the gaps. The first astronomers who saw the sequence said the same thing. It looks like formatting. Formatting implies intention. Intention implies sender. And there is only one candidate in that patch of sky right now. 3IATLAS. The pattern no one can explain. The sequence lasted 1 minute 47 seconds. Then it stopped. But inside that burst were 3 things that turned the scientific world inside out. 1. The pulse intervals were non-natural. Natural signals decay. They wobble. They drift. This one didn't. The timing between pulses was so stable that one researcher joked it looked like it came from a laboratory clock. Except it didn't come from Earth. 2. The frequency shift matched Atlas's last known delta pulse. Months ago, when Atlas hit its second major acceleration burst, its tail changed color from red to neutral gray. That shift aligned with a high-energy CO2 surge. The radio burst mirrored that shift exactly, as if the object remembered its own pulse signature. 3. The burst encoded prime numbers. The amplitude peaks came in sequences of 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. Natural sources don't count. Natural sources don't care about prime sequences. But intelligence does. That alone would have been enough to trigger an emergency briefing. But then something else happened. Something even harder to dismiss. 10 minutes later, the reply. At 2:26 Universal Time Coordinated, a small solar observing antenna in Norway received a secondary pulse. Weak, fragmented, barely above the noise floor. It should have been meaningless. Except it wasn't. Because when researchers plotted the waveform, they noticed a shape hidden inside the modulation pattern. A faint, sweeping curve, then a sharp vertical line, then a repeating arc. Someone in the control room whispered, "Is that the sun?" Another voice answered, "No, that's a trajectory." The weak secondary pulse appeared to map a path, not from the sun outward, but inward, as if something at the coordinates of 3IATLAS was marking a route leading to its next move. This discovery triggered the shutdown. Within minutes, the data servers for 3 observatories crashed simultaneously. 2 switched to maintenance mode. Another locked all external access. SETI's public dashboard went blank. Harvard's radio logging feed vanished. NASA's DSS-14 status page stopped refreshing. To the outside world, it looked like normal downtime. But inside astronomy circles, one message circulated privately. Do not repost the waveform. Official confirmation pending. Confirmation of what? A comet sending navigation coordinates? An engineered probe mapping its next burn? Something answering us? The question hung in the air. The unpublished meeting. At 9:40 Universal Time Coordinated, an emergency session was held between representatives of NASA, ESA, SETI, the U.S. Space Force, the NSF Radio Astronomy Council. None of the institutions will acknowledge the meeting happened, but the participants leaked the same detail. They were instructed to classify the burst as instrumental noise and bury the event under routine solar interference reports. But one scientist refused. A radio astronomer from the South African Meerkat Array reportedly confronted the panel with this line. You can classify it however you want. But that was a reply. Something responded. The room went quiet. Because it wasn't just a reply. It was targeted. The hidden transmission we didn't know we sent. 3 days before the burst, Earth transmitted something toward 3IATLAS without meaning to. Not a message. Not a beacon. A glitch. The U.S. Navy used a deep space communication burst to test a new encrypted narrowband channel. The beam was aimed near the solar limb to avoid reflecting off satellites. Nobody realized its spillover lobe passed directly through the region containing 3IATLAS. The burst lasted 16 minutes. Its frequency? 1,420 megahertz. The hydrogen line. The exact frequency Atlas answered on. We didn't call it, but it hurt us. And if the timing is correct, the signal from Atlas came exactly 62 hours later, the time it would take a directed response to reach Earth if it came from Atlas's approximate location. The pieces fit too well to ignore. We transmitted accidentally. Atlas transmitted back deliberately. The terrifying interpretation. Several unofficial analyses circulated privately among astronomers before the blackout sealed everything. The most fear-sharpened interpretation comes from an astrophysicist who has been studying Atlas since July. If the signal was a reply, it means Atlas is not just observing. It is listening. And if it is listening, then the implications reach far past astronomy. Because that means 3IATLAS isn't behaving like a comet. It's behaving like a receiver. Or worse, a probe with situational awareness. And when probes answer, they don't answer blindly. They respond with intent. The part everyone is afraid to say out loud. Signals have meaning. Pulse intervals have meaning. Prime number sequences have meaning. Trajectory arcs have meaning. But the silence afterward? That has meaning too. Astronomers expected follow-up bursts. A repeat. A confirmation. But nothing came. Not a whisper. Not a drift. Not a background flare. Just silence. As if Atlas sent one message. And then shut everything down. Why? 3 theories are circulating behind closed doors. 1. The signal was a warning. A test. A probe of our reactions. A single ping to measure our bandwidth, our response, our readiness. When the blackout hit, Atlas got its answer. 2. The signal was a beacon. Not to us, but to something else. A call home. A status update. A triggering mechanism. Some believe the burst sent coordinates not to Earth, but to another object, possibly even Swan. 3. The signal was a scan. In this interpretation, Atlas didn't send meaning. It sent measurement. A frequency sweep designed to read our magnetic field, atmosphere, interference profile, or even our technological footprint. A cosmic sonar. And the 11.2-second interval? Exactly the timing required to map Earth's ionospheric rebound curve. Meaning the message wasn't a message. It was a scan. The next 72 hours are critical. Atlas is still behind the sun, still invisible, still shielded from Earth's direct view. But when it reemerges, astronomers expect 3 possibilities. 1. A course correction, just like the previous delta pulses, but stronger, more deliberate. A maneuver. 2. A brightness surge. consistent with controlled outgassing, artificial thrusting, or a shield adjustment. 3. Another pulse, this time possibly stronger. Clearer. Unavoidable. The independent trackers are preparing. Bill Gray's distributed telescope network has already set up emergency protocols. Radio amateurs across Europe are calibrating dishes. Private observatories in Japan and Chile are setting up offline data backups in case official servers go dark again. No one trusts the agencies anymore. Not after the shutdown. Not after the meeting. Not after the command to classify the burst as noise. The final fear. Several researchers privately admitted the same terrifying thought. Atlas didn't send the first message. It sent the last. A single, clean reply to a signal we never meant to transmit. As if fulfilling an obligation. Checking a box. Completing a handshake. Then falling silent. If 3IATLAS is engineered, if it is listening, if it is scanning, if it has already mapped our position, then the question is no longer, did it send a signal back? The question is, what happens now that it has? And for the first time, astronomers aren't asking each other. They're asking, who was the message really for? Because deep down, every expert fears the same answer, and none of them want to confirm it.